Hello, my name is Eric and I'm doing another one of my photography vlogs called One Body, One Lens, One Roll, One Day. I am here at the Sledding Hill area of Hinckley Lake. Obviously it's middle of October, so I mean there's no snow, but give it a month or two. Northeast Ohio weather, you never know what's going to happen. So cool Sledding Hill area. We've got, looks like a ball field over there, some picnic benches, nice open area. So, you know, when the sledding hill is not being used, you've got room to, you know, toss frisbees, fly a kite, big open area. There's a path over that way. I might wander that way. But I saw some big birds in the area flying around at the moment. They seem to be not floating around at the moment. They must saw me pull out the camera and said, nope, we're not going to get our photo taken, but hopefully they'll poke their nose out again. Today's camera is a Pentax ZX-10. I've shot a couple of the ZX bodies before, a ZX-50, there was two of them, and a ZX-10 before. A little notorious for the pop-up flash spring kind of wearing out and not being able to use a pop-up flash. This one's pop-up flash is good. I have tested this with film before, so I know everything seems to be working. Today's lens is a Pentax SMC-A 28-200. So this is like an all-in-one lens. This is a super multi-coated. It has all the cool coatings on it. On this nice cloud and blue sky, that should be really good. Today's film is some expired and not well kept Konica Professional 160, kind of more of a professional portrait type film, but I do know this stuff was not kept well. I am going to pull it back probably 2 stops. I'll probably shoot it at ISO 50 rather than the 160 it's rated at, just because of the fact I know the condition of this stuff is not that well kept. So I'm probably going to get some mix of you know, results, maybe some weird coloring. The negatives might do something weird on me, but that's half the fun, especially when you start shooting expired stuff, and this is from 2003, so 22 years old. It's experimental stuff, so you don't know what you're going to get until you get it. All right, so I'm going to load it up, and let me go see what I can get. I'll be right back. All right, so this camera has DX code reading, so it can do the pins inside the camera read the silver black checker pattern on the roll of film and defaulted to 160, which is what it should do. And then I had to go to my ISO set and pull it back to 50. This is a 3.8 to 5.6 lens, so on a bright sunny day we should be doing really good because of the pulled film. This particular camera does have the date back, but the battery's dead and I wasn't worried about finding another one, so none of my photos are going to have that random date stamp on it. However, if your camera does have a date stamp, it does burn it onto the negative in the lower right hand corner and kind of like orange or red block digital numbers, like on a digital clock, that kind of blocky font type. You can use it, but my suggestion is when you go out someplace you go shoot it, take a photo of where you're at, you know, the signpost or the restaurant or the monument, whatever, you know, with you and your family, whatever, you have the date stamp on and boom, you got a record of when you were there, but then turn it off, do the shot again so that way you've got a clean photo, and then just do the rest of your shots in the area. But when you go to another monument or whatever, or another location, turn your date stamp back on. It's nothing worse. You get this cool shot, cool landscape, and there's a date stamp, and you don't want to pay, you know, Photoshop people to remove that. It's getting a little bit easier with AI, but it's still annoying when you got to do it. Alrighty, I did see a bird or two flying around. Maybe they're just over that way a bit, but I'm going to get a couple shots here in the open field, up the hill, the tree line. Let me see what I can get. Okay, so this camera and a lot of the film cameras back in the day only had so many autofocus points. They usually had 3 or 5 or maybe up to 11 or 12. This one's got 3, so it's kind of more of a center, a left and a right, or this little bracket in the middle I've got to stay in. Otherwise it's going to sit there and argue with me. I just tried locking onto a big bird, and I'm guessing it could be a buzzard, could be an eagle, I don't know, just a big bird. And it couldn't lock on because still a little too far away, and it wasn't kind of filling that bracket inside this camera. So I flipped to manual focus. Not sure if I got the shot. We'll find out. But he kind of tucked into the tree line. I did a shot up the sled hill, both wide and long, so you can kind of see the difference. As long as the comparison shots come out, you can kind of see what a 28 to 200, which is, I think, about an 8 or 8.5 times ratio between your wide point and your long point, which is pretty nice. Some of the current digital lenses, or even DSLR lenses, what Nikon's got a 24 to 400, so now you're talking like 17x. There's some older 18 to 300s. There's a 16 to 300 Tamron had, an 18 to 400 Tamron had, 18 to 300, I think Nikon had one, 28 300 Canon. There's a whole bunch of the all-in-one lenses. Typically they were not that fast, 3.8 to 5.6, 3.5, 5.6, even maybe falling off to 6.3 or 6.7 for the ones that go to 400. Great for days like today with the sun's out, not so great in that low light action. So it's kind of a jack of all trades, good at everything, but not great at any one thing. But it was a good travel lens. You wouldn't have to carry around 4 or 5 standard lenses. You just kind of carried that one. All right, I'm gonna head that way a little bit. Let me see what I can get. This camera has chirps that'll let you know that you're in focus. You can, I believe, shut them off somehow, but maybe not. No, I guess you can't. But it does have the mid-roll, oh, it does. So you can turn the chirp on and off. Same thing with you get some flash controls. Now, I've been mostly just shooting in an automatic mode. I've been going manual on this one. Lens has an A on the aperture ring. I'm letting the camera do everything for me. So this camera and a lot of other film cameras, a lot of digital cameras, have some scene modes. There's usually an auto A+, green square, orange square, whatever, but that's your snapshot mode. That's actually the mode that I'm shooting in for this one. But I do have a portrait, a landscape, a macro, and an action. Kind of does certain things, tries to favor shallow depth of field or deep depth of field or faster shutter speeds, depending upon the mode that you pick. You do have aperture priority, shutter priority, and full manual. You just have to dial it in the side. This camera can also take a cable release, but it's not the standard mechanical one like some of the old manual cameras like my Super Program or my 645 or my LX, where you just kind of screw it in the top. This is an electronic one off to the side, so a little bit more tricky to maybe remote fire this one. Now I will say that the slowest shutter speed this guy has, I think, is 30 seconds. Checking. 30 seconds, which is a really long time to do an exposure. If you're doing fireworks, that's a good time. If you're doing kind of like movement, like a stream or a river, you're catching that blur movement. Usually you're nowhere near 30 seconds. Maybe Niagara Falls at night, you might be doing a 20-30 second exposure, depending upon how much of that light from those colors that they kind of throw on the waterfall kind of gets you. But this can time itself down to 30 seconds, where a lot of the old manual cameras are maybe down to 1 second or maybe as much as 4 seconds like my LX, but very few of them could go longer than that. A lot of the electronic ones could go longer. Max shutter speed on this guy is about a 2,000th of a second. A lot of manual cameras could do that. Some could go further. I'm on shot 22 out of a roll of 24, so I got 2 shots left, maybe one more if I get a bonus shot. Let me see what I can get. I will be right back. I see a bird. See if I can get the bird. He moved. Where'd the bird go? There he is. Hiding in some branches, so I may not be able to get him. I did get some shots of the big birds that were floating around, so that's cool. And let me try this in the trees. It looks like I'm going to get at least one more bonus shot because I'm at 24 right now. So this is probably my last shot. And that's the end of the shot. Camera has obviously an auto rewind. You're hearing it kick in right now. Unlike the N70s I've shot at some of the other cameras, you could delay when it kicks into rewind. All right, so again, today we are at the sledding hill of Hinkley Lake area. I've been here once before, kind of a cool place. Might be neat to come here when all the snow's around. Today's camera was a ZX-10, part of the ZX family of Pentax autofocus bodies. There was probably 7 or 8 of them. I think there was a 50 and a 10, then the 7, the 5, the L, variations of the 5, I think 5 and 5N, a 30. I think I got them all, but if I missed one, I apologize. I'm a Pentax buff and I should know that, but I think I got them all. All right. Photos will be posted at the end, so give them a thumbs up if you like them. Feel free to comment on your own experience with a Pentax camera or an all-in-one like 28-200, 28-300 zoom lens. Let me know what camera you shoot. If I have it in my collection or I can get access to it, let me go out and shoot it. A couple friends of mine, other shooters have seen me doing this project. They say, here, you want to take a couple of my lenses and go out and shoot them? Great. This lens is actually from a friend of mine, Rob. He shoots a Pentax digital system. He says, hey, I got a couple of lenses. Which ones do you need? I said, any of them that have an aperture ring. He gave me about 4 of them. So this is the first one that I'm shooting up. That's his 28-200. Actually has a pretty decent macro on it, about a 1:3.5, which is kind of cool. So thank you, Rob, for letting me use this lens. Hopefully the shots came out. Today's film was some expired and not good condition. Konica Professional 160 film. Expect some weird colors, expect some discoloration. I got this in a pack of 10 off of eBay. Guy did not know the condition, and on my tests and on previous episodes, I get mixed results. Some of the shots come out okay at scanning, but some of them are just off color and not so good. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode.